Now we're going to concentrate on this area. What I'm thinking is having another beach further up here, and I'm going to have another wizard's house up here, so I'll do that first. I'll just find my medieval house, prefabs, and find the wizard's house. Just bring this in. Okay, I'm just going to press F to get a little bit closer. Yeah, I think that's fine. Just rotate it a little bit. Just want to make sure that all of the props are switched off to begin with. Okay, and then this area is going to be some kind of a beach, so I just want to go back to the island and just sculpt this a little bit. So raise or lower terrain. I'll use a softer brush. Bring my opacity down, brush size just a little bit further down, just hold shift and begin to lower this down a little bit. A little bit too much, so you can just pull that back up. Okay, so that's quite a lumpy beach, I guess. So what I might do there is just see if I can smooth that out a little bit. I'll pull my opacity up a bit, blur direction maybe about 0.7. Let's try this. Let's just take a quick look. It doesn't seem to be doing much. Opacity. For some reason my blur is just not doing anything. Normally it works quite well. Okay. So what I might just need to do is raise or lower terrain, bring my opacity way down to about 0.9, bring my brush up a little bit, and I'll just hold shift. That's just going to lower everything, I think. Just holding shift. This works very much like a smoothing. Okay. And then I'm just going to pull these areas back up a little bit. As long as I've got the opacity really low, it should be fine. Okay. Alright, yep. I think that's a little bit better. Alright, you don't want it too lumpy. And then obviously paint texture, which is right there. So just onto the sand, I want to choose a good brush. Brush size just a little bit bigger. In fact, no, actually not that big. And then opacity, I'll just bring this up a bit. And let's just start to paint in this beach. Okay, then I'm going to lower the opacity down, lower the brush size. And just get that little bit of a blend going on there. Okay, good. Now I'll leave it to you to actually decorate that beach. Okay, so you do need some kind of details on there. What I do need is my path to go all the way along to this wizard's house. Okay, so that's back to my path texture again, and I think my brush is a little bit big at the moment, so I'll just bring this down. Be about 3, I think. Yeah, that's fine. I'll just kind of come all the way around. So I want to kind of try to avoid having really straight paths. So I want it to curve a lot, do this sort of thing. Okay, and then as we get close, alright, there we go. Now I don't need a path down to the beach. Okay, I will need a path going that way eventually. Now what I want to do is think about this area. Okay, what do I want to put in this area? Well, I actually want it to be relatively open. Alright, because this is an area where it gets a lot more dangerous. There could potentially be a lot of combat going on here. So in my project, in the main prefabs, I'm going to take a look at some of these rocks. And I want to use pretty big rocks going on here. So I might start with this rock 01. It's pretty big, so I'll just kind of bring this in. Now I want to make this even bigger than it is already. Okay, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually shrink this down a little bit so you can change the shape of it to make it look a little bit different to the others. Might even just stretch that out just a little bit. Maybe even kind of rotate it around a little bit, possibly even on this in this way, and then I'm just going to push it down underneath the surface of the terrain. Okay, that way it just gives it kind of like this idea that it's a very kind of a rocky kind of surface. Then I'm going to take another one. Alright, bring it out again. Pretty much do the same thing, but just in a slightly different way. Alright, so this time I want to extend it out so it's quite long, but I'm not going to shrink it down the other way. And then once again, just push that down into the ground. Okay, so that you get a wide variety of different rock types, okay, that are going on here. Once again, something down here, so I'll take the same rock, this time make it a lot bigger again, and I'll shrink it down this way this time, but I won't shrink it in the width. Just make it like, just rotate it a little bit and then push it down into the ground. Okay, yep, so we've got something kind of interesting going on there. Then I might want just a few of these kind of rocks going on here. Might pull one further over here as well, so I'll just click on this, Control and D, and pull it down over here. It's almost like a gateway, if you like. Okay. Then I might have some kind of something with some runes on it. I know there's these stones up here, so the ancient ruined stones. Might just bring a few of these in, so I'll just scale this up a little bit. And what I might do with this is just have a series of them, as though it's some kind of a structure. And I'll make them so that they're pretty much identical to each other, so I'm not going to rotate them or anything like that. Okay, just so that it looks a little unusual. Alright, as you're entering toward this wizard's house. So perhaps this wizard deals with maybe kind of dark magic, whereas this wizard over here has more kind of like friendly light magic kind of thing. Then I probably just want some kind of trees hanging around, not too many though. In fact, I might start with just a couple of bushes, just to make it kind of look a little bit more interesting. These are pretty small, so they're not really going to get in the way. And then obviously some of the trees, so I'll use the pine tree double. I definitely don't want to overload with these trees, as I want this to be a very open area where you can pretty much get into some kind of combat. Okay, and then probably some grass, just to add a little bit of detail. Okay, yep. And then I might also have just a few like mushrooms around that you can collect, so let's find the mushrooms. Now we've got these types of mushrooms, but I'm pretty sure I've got a different type as well. See if I can find that one. Some of these thumbnails have disappeared. I've got mushroom 1, alright, which is like a little brown mushroom, your typical kind of garden mushroom. So I probably want to put a few of these down actually. When you collect the mushrooms, they're going to have different properties. Alright, so you can actually use these mushrooms to create sort of magic. So you have to collect them. And by putting things that you need to collect around the map in certain areas, you're effectively promoting the player to actually explore and have to travel into these areas. If there's no reason to go up there, chances are the player might just completely ignore that area. And let's bring this over here. Okay, yeah, alright, so I think that's pretty good. So as you can see, it's quite an open kind of space, and then as we start to come down here, it's going to get a little bit more populated. Alright, but yeah, I think it's coming together. All we need to do now is just paint in this kind of a rock texture all the way up to here, and then the rock texture all the way around right over to there on the edge. So if you want to do that by the next video and just add a little bit of detail on this beach, just add a few of these, maybe a few of these stones, and just some kind of props on there.